My friends, entropy always increases. It's physics, and physics is never wrong, right? This right here is the second law of thermodynamics. Hello there, I'm Christian. I brought my artistic license and I'm here to entertain you. I work at SLOlogic and I moonlight as a weekend philosopher. Here's another fascinating aspect of the second law. There is a natural tendency of any isolated system to degenerate into a more disordered state. Chaos is the way of the universe. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, we are in charge of one or many systems. These systems are important commercially and maybe for some of you even life-preserving. As all of you, of course, know, we clearly have a work cut out for us. When we build and operate these systems, we have learned, consciously or maybe subconsciously, to anticipate the chaos. For a long time now, we have known that as part of building systems, we need to instrument them. We add logs, little poems to our future selves. We add metrics and traces. Many of us then further instrument systems with runtime agents. Everybody has their preferred composition for a magic potion. And then, as these systems operate us, we strive to observe them as well as we possibly can. Observability provides an awesome framing for our attempts at tilting at the windmills of systems that increase in complexity faster than we can watch observability vendor talks on YouTube at 2.5x speed, right? And yet, I have come to the conclusion that what we today call observability falls dramatically short of what actually matters. In Sumo, we have had a way to talk about such phenomena for a long time. Internally, we call them horse-cart violations. Also, I just love this picture so much. I mean, you can literally see the question mark over their head there, right? So, in many ways, I believe that the industry is following a false prophet. Because observability is nothing more than a means to an end. Sure, it is exciting, and yes, it is absolutely critical, but it's just a means. It is most definitely not the end. Okay then, but what is the end? Well, the way I see it, the end is reliability. This is what actually truly matters to the users of our systems, right? So generally speaking, we always want to start at the end and work our way backward. This means that we want to look for and focus on the outcome. This is actually especially important when we design products. No matter what products, actually, even products that help in achieving reliability, and it can get dangerously meta-circular for me at this point, so let's just move on. Statement. When we apply an outcome-focused lens, the outcome we are striving for is reliability. Why is this? Simple. We are living in the age of digital transformation. Yes, I know, I can't hear it anymore either. Sometimes it feels to me that at this point we are actually living in the post-digital transformation world. But this is our profession. We are nerds and geeks and digital natives. It's a professional hazard. The reality is that the world in a broader sense is still catching up. Believe it or not, digital transformation is the defining business trend of the 21st century, and it has even accelerated in the last 2 years in light of the global pandemic. As a result, of course, the applications and systems we are building and operating are crucially important to the success of the business. In late-stage capitalism, if you zoom out all the way, the success of the business is really the only important outcome. And working our way backward again, if the business is digital, the success of the business depends on the digital experience it can deliver. And guess what? Generally, digital experience is defined in terms of security, quality, and, wait for it, reliability, meaning availability and performance. And this finally leads us to what I am calling reliability management. This is what I believe, myopically, the category of products I'm involved in building and which many of you are using to ensure the success of your businesses is really all about. Let's face it, competition is a fact of life. And so I personally do not subscribe to a dog-eat-dog outlook on life in general, but we have to admit, whether we like it or not, that in order to be successful in business, we, by and large, have to be more successful than others. And there will always be others. Otherwise, what you are doing is probably not very interesting. So you are saying, but shit, Christian, competition is tough. Yeah, in a way, competition is another primal process that inflicts chaos on our careful order. So the stakes are always very high. What are we supposed to do? Well, we start by excusing ourselves from the perceived need of looking at the world in absolutes. We actually don't need to be absolutely reliable. Of course, we have all learned this from the Google writings. 100% is the wrong reliability target for basically everything, end quote. It turns out that these empirical observations are well anchored in a long intellectual history. As the egg-shaped Frenchman here already said about half a millennium ago, perfect is the enemy of good. So hope is still not a strategy, but at least there's hope. We just have to be reliable enough, and we have to be more reliable than our competition worldwide and 24/7. This will lead us to a world-class digital experience, and from there, we can turn operations into a competitive differentiator. This is our management challenge. I am excited about the emergence of SLOs and error budgets and the thinking around it, because these things really give us a methodology. This allows us to work off of a common understanding and allows us to design supporting products much more efficiently. And also, I am excited because this approach brings a level of simplification to a very daunting challenge. And I appreciate the radical realism behind it. To me, the SLO methodology for reliability management is fundamentally humane. It stands a chance to free us from the tyranny of the pager. It frees us from the shackles of CPU spikes. It frees us from all these things that only seem important. It puts the forest back into the trees. And as you can see in Stefan's talk at this conference at Sumo, we have been using this approach for a while now, and it really does work for us and our customers. To wrap up, I want to share two metaphors with you. I have been carrying these around with me for a while now. First, sleep matters to success. Don't ever think otherwise. I am sure that all of you have made this experience, and at Sumo we have most definitely learned it, the hard way of course, over the last 12 years, but we did learn it. And secondly, laziness. Laziness is a virtue. It took me a very long time to grok this, but I firmly believe it today. So embrace the counterintuitive. And finally, I'm a big fan of the OpenSLO project. As I already said, I believe that what we have on our hands here is a methodology that gives us a very efficient way to monitor our apps and systems for a great digital experience. To me, OpenSLO acts as a substrate to encode many of the basics of the methodology for everybody to reuse. A rising tide lifts all boats, and I encourage everyone to use OpenSLO and to improve on top of it. At Sumo, we are trying to do exactly that. SLOgen is a tool we built that allows you to create usable content, dashboards, and alerts in our product that reflect the SLIs and SLOs expressed in an OpenSLO spec. We are greatly enjoying the collaboration with the OpenSLO community, and we are looking forward to contributing more. And of course, we are also very curious about feedback on SLOgen in particular. That's all, folks. Keep in mind that counting sheep is also math. I hope I managed to entertain you for a while, and see you around sometime.